This is Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, a game I've been waiting to play since I got my PS5 in November 2021. And I did actually put an hour or two in when I got the game, but we'll go into that again later. Long story short, Ratchet Clank Rift Apart is about everyone's favorite Lombax, which, if you don't know what a Lombax is, there's X amount of Ratchet and Clank games you can play at this point, where you can learn what a Lombax is. And your objective is to stop a crazy, goofy, bad guy with the world's most ridiculous and creative weapons. You will planet hop, you will dimension hop, and you'll hop like Mario, because it's also kind of a platformer. But basically what separates this PS5 exclusive from the rest of the Ratchet & Clank games is that you are dimension hopping, and you indeed visit another dimension where there is another Lombax, which puts us where the game actually begins. And so before I started my platinum journey, I did already get a few trophies. I got the Rift Apart trophy for getting separated in Nefarious City, because long story short, Ratchet & Clank are having a big celebration. Dr. Nefarious comes out of nowhere and dimensions start getting wonky, stuff happens, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. That's how the game starts. I then got the More Than Lint trophy for entering a pocket dimension. Basically you just enter a little hidden dimension, you walk in, you get a little collectible, it's a great time. I then got the Boing trophy for bouncing on Big Owl, Clank, and Quark's parade balloons, because again, Ratchet and Clank are going through a victory parade at the beginning. You just jump on their balloons and get those trophies. And then for Sartorial Steel, you just need to acquire a piece of armor, which again, pretty easy, will happen as the game progresses. I then got the shiny trophy, exclamation point included, for collecting a gold bolt. Now these are like the big prize collectibles. Again, if you've never played a Ratchet Clank game before, these are the big deal collectibles. The gold bolts are what you want to find, because you collect little shiny little bolts throughout the game for currency, but gold bolts are the ultimate reward for your hunts and travels. I then got the Planning Some Destruction trophy for collecting a spy bot, which is another collectible that you find in the game that will unlock you things later in the game. We'll talk about that when we get there. So now that we've covered the 6 trophies that I unlocked in my first hour or two of the game when I first got the game in 2021, that brings us to about a week or two, or however long ago this was, depending on how long filming and editing and all that good stuff takes. That brings us to this point in time. So basically, long story short, I decided to restart the game to refresh my memory and get me back up to speed. And playing through the game, doing all the adventuring and planet hopping and dimension hopping and all that good stuff, and then unlocked the trophies in this order. I got the Does This Make My Tail Look Big for acquiring and equipping head, torso, and leg armor.
Does this make my tail look big?
I got the Quantum Mechanic trophy for repairing a dimensional anomaly.
Oh, and a trophy, Quantum Mechanic. Wait, what did I just do?
They blow up so fast for getting a weapon to level 5.
Oh, they blow up so fast.
I then did the Hide and Seek Repeat for defeating the Seek Repeat, which basically just the boss battle chase sequence. You can see from this gameplay here. I then got the It's So Fluffy trophy for collecting a Krager bear, which are these little bears that don't look like anything different from the game environment, but they are in fact collectibles in the game. I then got the No Need for Multi-Ball trophy for killing 2 enemies with a single ricochet round, because there is a weapon that sends a projectile that literally you tell it to bounce between enemies. It sounds lit, it's not lit to use, let me just tell you right now. I then got the Victory trophy for completing a Battleplex challenge. Basically, you'll arrive on a planet and there will be this sort of arena, tournament, challenge area where you just defeat certain enemies doing certain things under certain circumstances, and that's all you need to do to get this. I then did the Must Go Faster trophy for doing a trick jump while going at max speed with the hover boots. You acquire the hover boots and then you just go fast. That's
Must go faster.
Sanic, basically.
Must go faster.
I then did the Don't Walk Away From Me trophy for reaching the archives, because those are important for various reasons and we do have to find them. I then did the Full Rack trophy for filling my weapon wheels by just acquiring weapons as the game went on. And then on the next day, I acquired my next set of trophies over the next few hours. This crystal is my things for acquiring phase quartz, which is an important material to this game and dimensions and all that good stuff. I then got the Life of the Party trophy for deploying 50 Mr. Fungi. So Mr. Fungi is one of your weird saying Mr. Fungi is a weapon, but Mr. Fungi is a weapon who's like a little deployable sidekick who will help you out once you purchase him. And then I got the Emotional Support Robot for meeting the Fixer, which basically you hear of a guy called the Fixer because you need him to fix something, and that's what he does. I then got the Nooks and Crannies trophy for collecting 5 gold bolts. Again, happens with time. I then did the Extreme Gardening trophy for defeating 30 enemies while they are topiaried. Basically, there's a weapon, a topiary glove, which basically turns enemies into plants. It's real great for slowing enemies down, let me tell you. And And then got the icebreaker trophy for meleeing 5 frozen enemies because there's a weapon that freezes enemies into giant ice cubes, and then you just hit them with your wrench and they go sliding across the world. But my next trophy on the list was It's Loose for setting juice free. Basically, you go through this Dead Space-esque sequence wherein you are in an underwater base. You meet up with an electrical fish creature thingy that is pretty bent on trying to eat you, but eventually you help him out and free him, and he learns to love you. And then there's even a cup holder for fully upgrading a weapon. Again, just happens with time. Just keep playing the game, keep upgrading your stuff, you're fine. And then got the Hey Lombax DJ for playing 3 songs on Zerky's jukebox. Basically, there's a jukebox on this planet, and you just need to hit the button a few times, and then you'll get this trophy. I then decided to call it a stream, and on the next day, I actually completed the game. But on my way to completing the game, these are the trophies that I unlocked. I got the Rated R trophy for feeding Bubbles, which is basically the Kraken in the game. I really don't know what else to say about that. It just is what it is. And then I got the Hole Puncher trophy for getting 20 headshots with the Headhunter, which is basically the game's sniper rifle that allows you to slow down time, and the headshots are pretty sick. I then got the Return to Sender trophy for sinking the mothership on Sargasso. That's exactly what it sounds like. You're taking down a ship, and there's a whole sequence for it. It's lit. I then did the Alert the Sponsor trophy for performing 5 trick jumps on a grind rail, which I learned you don't actually have to do consecutively on one rail. You can just do them whenever. Basically, use a double jump while you're on a rail, and you do a trick jump. Easy. I then got the Glitch Finds a Way trophy for completing all the glitch challenges. I don't know why I haven't explained this before, but basically, Glitch is your little spider friend that hacks into the computers in this game and clears the systems of their viruses so you can open doors and stuff. And there's, I think, about 5 challenges in here, and then you unlock this trophy. It's a nice little deviation in the gameplay. A little gimmicky, but kind of fun still. I then got the No Bones About It challenge for retrieving the dimensional map because, again, dimensions and portals and stuff like that, and there's a map wall, but go figure, and you need to get it before Nefarious does. Checks out. I then got the I'm a Warden now for breaking in and out of prison. Because long story short, Ratchet ends up going to the prison, and you have to break him out of it all by yourself. But obviously, it works out. And I then got the 2 Fuzz 2 Nefarious trophy for defeating Dr. and Emperor Nefarious. Again, I don't know why I'm not explaining these things earlier, but there are 2 Nefariouses in this game. The Dr. Nefarious that we all know, love, hate, whatever. The Nefarious that we all know from previous Ratchet and Clank games. And then there's Emperor Nefarious, the alternate dimension version of Dr. Nefarious, who is actually good at his job and is known for crushing worlds and being a strong-armed ruler. And basically, that's the entire game. You now got 2 Lombaxes, you got 2 little robots, and you got 2 Nefariouses defeated. All in all, a pretty solid game. I got about 2/3 of the trophies just doing a normal gameplay, and it took me about 10 hours, and that concludes the first step of my plan for platinum this game, and that was to just play the story. Great story, loved it. I'm a big fan of the Ratchet and Clank games. I have nothing to complain about. It was everything I would want from a Ratchet and Clank game on PS5. It looks great, it feels great, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a ton. But that brings us to our next step, which is basically just to do cleanup and collectible hunting. But before we do that, I wouldn't be doing my duty as a YouTuber if I didn't remind you to like the video. Now, it doesn't really do anything, or so you might think. It actually does a lot to help the channel, especially since it is a newer channel. It greatly helps push the video into the algorithm so more people can find this kind of content. I would greatly appreciate if you did drop the like, drop a comment, keep watching the video, do whatever you want to do. I really do appreciate y'all being here. And we're not going to waste any more time on that. We're just going to get right into the trophy cleanup. So first, I decided to do the Can't Stop Me trophy by completing a Gold Cup Battleplex challenge. Now, luckily for me, I was able to just walk over to Zerky's and just pick a Gold Cup challenge, which actually was not difficult. I've played other games that have gold level arena challenges that were way more difficult than this, so it was a pretty easy thing for me to do. It took me all of 5 minutes to do in a little bit of free time I had on a Sunday. I then went and did the sweet victory trophy by collecting honey for Chef Tulio. Again, pretty easy. Just need to defend an objective for a little while the artiste makes the art. I don't know what else to say about that, but you'll see it in the gameplay here. I then did the Feeding Friendly trophy for collecting 10 Zerf Stones for Trudy. Again, you just run around, you go hit some plants, and you go bring it back to Mort and Trudy. Again, it's not that bad. You just need to pay attention to your map and just take care of them. And then did the Lombax and Shield trophy for turning on the TV in Rivet's hideout. Literally, you just go and turn your TV on. It's pretty easy, in my opinion. I then did the Extinction Event trophy for killing 5 Grunthors. Again, if you just explore, in particular Sargasso, you will do this naturally. You just gotta play through all the areas in the game where the Grunthors live, and you'll get this trophy. I then did the Max Relax trophy for finding the nefarious citizens by the hot springs. Again, just an easy trophy. You just go find them and say hello, and you get the trophy. I then did the Might Have Broken Something trophy for collecting 3 Lords. There are 10 of them, so you have some options here for the trophy, and you only need to hit 3 of them. I then did the Just Stay Down trophy for defeating 30 ejected collected nefarious trooper heads. Now for some reason, I don't know if these just like don't count correctly. I feel like I should have done this like during the story of the game, but it wasn't too hard to do in cleanup. I just ran around and fought enemies and I got the trophy. I then did the shifty character trophy for hitting every Blizon crystal on Blizzard Cordylion, however you say this planet's name. Basically, you just gotta hit every crystal that shifts dimensions across these 2 planets, and there's about, I think, 30 something of them, and you only need to hit 29, so I just had to go back and do that real quick. I then did the aim to misbehave trophy for acquiring the Rhino, which if y'all don't know, the Rhino is the biggest, craziest, most powerful weapon you can find in any Ratchet & Clank game. I believe this is the Rhino 8, so we've had quite a few iterations of the Rhino. This one is crazy, and it fits the theme of the game of dimensions and portals and fun stuff like that. But basically, all you need to do to acquire the Rhino in this game is you need to find all the spy bots, which I believe there are 10 spy bots that you need to find in the game. You acquire them, whether you just locate them on the map or you complete a challenge for them, and then you go over to Ms. Zircon's and you buy the weapon for exactly $0.99. Free 99, they say. Then you just let her in. I then did the unbearably awesome trophy for finding all the Krager bears. Now, unfortunately, these are not marked on the map. You just need to know where they are, which it's pretty easy to look up a guide on the internet. So that's exactly what I did. Luckily, I already had about half of them, so this one didn't take long. I then did the fully stacked trophy for purchasing all the weapons. Now, I did have to start a challenge mode to get the final 2 weapons here, but they were both a bolt each after I started the challenge mode. So again, not difficult. Major theme of the game here. And then I just needed one more trophy, and that last trophy for me before the platinum was the return policy trophy. And what I needed to do was kill 10 enemies by returning shots with the Void Reactor. Now the Void Reactor is just a level 5 version of whatever it's called before then. And basically, when you're using this weapon, you put up a shield and you let that shield absorb some projectiles, and then you send those projectiles back to the enemies. Unfortunately, absorbing projectiles uses a lot of the shield's energy, so you have to be careful with it. You can't absorb too many shots with it, and the shots that you send back are not super powerful, but again, you just play it well and you're able to pop this trophy. And that was it. I then platinumed the game. Masters of the Multiverse is the name of the platinum here. A nice little reward for playing through this nice little game. In all seriousness though, I really do love the Ratchet & Clank games. I've been playing them since the PS3 days. I know they were out on PS2, but I was not into it then. But I was able to get the remastered trilogy on PS3, and I platinumed all those games, and I think I've platinumed just about every Ratchet & Clank since then, except for the last Ratchet & Clank game, I think, which I will probably go back and do now. But I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Thanks for being here. Let me know what you want to see me play next, and I hope to see you again soon. Peace.